Hello, this is Crystal Speed, your HR strategist here with the COO team. Welcome to today's live video. So as I mentioned, I am Crystal, your HR strategist, supporting you and helping you take your organization farther, faster by really investing in taking care of your people. You can find me and the rest of the COO team at thecooteam.com. So I wanted to go live today and just share a couple things with our leaders, those CEOs and those executive directors who are leading small teams but aren't realizing the impact that you are anticipating because of the investment in your team and in your people. So today's conversation is all about thinking about how we can help you really move forward with greater impact and optimizing your organization by investing in your team members. So this is for, I said, leaders of small businesses or nonprofit organizations where you lead a team of 3 to 10 individuals. This is for you to help you think about some strategies, tools, and techniques that will support you in really being able to invest in your team well and be able to realize impact and realize some of those strategic goals that you have for your organization. First of all, why have you been struggling, leaders, with really optimizing your organization and impacting the communities that you serve? Where there are some simple reasons why you've been struggling to date. One is you are not clear on who you are and who you need on your team for the next 3 to 5 years. So many times leaders are definitely thinking about where they would like their organization to go and how they would like their organization to grow over time, but aren't giving as much attention to really being able to establish who they need on their team in order to get there, and being able to then go about and getting the people that you need on your team. So many leaders struggle with realizing greater impact because they don't have a strategic plan around how they're going to get their people, thinking about hiring, training, as well as releasing. In order for your organization to move forward in alignment with what your strategic goals are over the next 3 to 5 years, you need the right people on your team. So that might mean that you need to hire or acquire people. It may mean that you need to train some of those individuals that are currently on your team so that they're better equipped to handle and to tackle those ambitious goals that you have. And it may mean releasing some of those individuals who really aren't aligned with where you're going as an organization. So the first thing is, in order to realize greater impact, you really need to be able to think strategically over the next 3 to 5 years, at least 2 to 3 years, but 3 to 5 years about where your organization is going and the people that you need in order to get there. The next thing is you want to make sure that you have alignment between your strategy and the goals that your people have. It is very frustrating at best as a member of a team when the organization is going somewhere and I am unaware of how my contributions are supporting and helping the organization and growing and meeting those objectives. Also, there are many times when organizations aren't realizing the impact that they expect, or their bottom line isn't increasing in the way that they expect. It's oftentimes associated with the fact that your team members are focused on things that aren't driving the organization forward. They're focused on things that aren't aligned with your strategic goals, your strategic objectives, and where the organization is going. So in order to realize greater impact, leaders, you really want to ensure that your people are aligned with your strategic goals and objectives. Your people, not only the tasks and responsibilities, but also their commitment to the organization is in line with what the organization seeks to achieve for the long term. Also, you want to think about intentionality and consistency with your people. Many times we think because we have a great talent on our team that it doesn't take the same level of intentionality or consistency, but it does. In order for your team to continue to grow and continue to execute at high levels, it takes investment from you as well as other leaders within your organization. It takes time, it takes consistency, and again, intentionality. So you may not be seeing the type of growth that you would like to see in your organization or the type of impact that you're expecting because the investment and the growth of your team is not intentional, and you're not consistent with how you're really resourcing them, supporting them, and helping them really realize the best of themselves as individuals and members of your team. But you know what? It is possible to realize the growth that you would like when you start being intentional and consistent and investing in your team, because you want to attract, you want to keep, and you want to grow individuals that will help your organization meet those ambitious objectives and those ambitious strategic goals that you have set. Now, I find myself as well as Lori, who is the founder of the COO team, through our conversations with various leaders, whether they're leaders of nonprofits or small businesses, it's been exposed that there are some myths that leaders have internalized and are really actually living into or living out in a way that is unhelpful to your organization. These myths are impacting the way that you attract, the way that you keep, and the way that you grow people. And it's ultimately impacting the way that your business or your organization grows and realizes impact. So I wanted to cover real quick the 5 myths that we've been hearing quite often from our leaders, and being able to give you some information that really counters these myths. And hopefully you're not finding yourself actually believing any of these myths, but if you are, no worries. Today is a day that you can kind of repent from believing in these myths and get on a new track towards realizing impact and growth for your organization. So the first myth that so many leaders of small businesses or small nonprofits feed into is that size matters and that you are too small to attract great talent. That is completely false. You have access to great talent just like these large, well-known organizations or these big brands. The way that you market yourself and position yourself is going to be different, but you still have the same opportunity. In some cases, a better opportunity to really be able to hone in on that ideal candidate and get the talent that you need within your organization. So your size should not be a hindrance to you getting great stellar talent. Instead, it should be an asset. Because of your size, you can be more agile in the way that you approach development and growth within your organization. Your size provides more direct access to your leaders as well as your board. If you're a nonprofit, then that might be really a sticking point, something that attracts others, saying, hey, I can have access to this, to these great resources, these individuals who have skills and expertise, and I'm able to really contribute and input into this organization in a meaningful way. So your size is actually something to capitalize on. It can be a key differentiator, and it can be a great benefit. So you aren't too small to attract stellar talent. It's about how you position yourself and how you really share the unique assets that your organization maintains and is able to provide for individuals who are looking to join an organization. Another myth, the second myth that so many leaders fall into, is thinking that they can hire stellar talent in 2 to 4 weeks. You can hire talent in 2 to 4 weeks. It's extremely difficult, and the chances that they are stellar talent, those chances are highly unlikely. So in order to attract individuals, it takes intentionality and it takes time. It takes what I call pipelining or building a candidate pool. So many times as leaders, we are so invested in growing our organization that we lose sight of the fact that we should be growing our pool of ideal candidates for for opportunities that are coming up in the future and those that we can't even anticipate. There's new work that may come up, whether it's a grant that your nonprofit has just been awarded, or if there's a new client that your business brings on board that requires some human resources associated with it. Of course, we can't always anticipate transition within our organization when individuals leave, whether for a new opportunity or for seasons in life that change. But we do know that transition is going to happen at some point in time. Not only transition, but our business is going to grow and we're going to need additional resources. So we should be intentional about pipelining and gathering a pool of ideal candidates over time. I like to think about this in regards to, I'm starting to get people excited and interested about my organization so that in the next 6 to 9, maybe even 12 months, when opportunities come about, they're already excited. They know a little bit about us. They're committed to our mission, or at least committed to knowing more about our mission. And then we can actually finesse or massage this relationship over time so that when the opportunity comes about, whether it's planned or unexpected, we have individuals in our pool that we can actually attract. It is not realistic to think that within 2 to 4 weeks you'll be able to find your ideal candidate. These things do happen from time to time, but it's not realistic, and it's not really being a good leader and thinking that, hey, I can quickly respond to a requirement that comes up. No, you want to be intentional. You want to build these relationships with ideal candidates, prospective candidates over time, so that when the opportunity comes about, they are ready and eager and excited about joining you and your organization. So those are 2 of the myths. The third myth that Lori and I hear constantly from those individuals that we work with is they may not use it in these keywords, but the way that their systems are set up and the way that they go about not only attracting but keeping people really states this both implicitly and sometimes even explicitly. And the third myth is that the paycheck is the key driver for our people. Oftentimes, that is not true at all. Yes, we want to get paid and compensated appropriately for the contributions that we make to our team and to our organization, but there is so much more that goes into why an individual decides to join and stay with the organization besides just the take-home pay. Again, pay is a component of it, but when we think about total compensation or total benefits, there is so much that goes into it that really helps individuals think about, am I here for the long haul, or am I ready to go on to another opportunity? And some of those components that they're thinking about is in regards to, the passion for the work and the commitment to the mission. So if your organization has a really strong mission that individuals are able to align to and really believe in, that is going to be one of the determining factors as to, if they join you and if they stay with you. Also, individuals are looking for so much more nowadays, a great work-life balance, and make trade-offs in regards to the organizations that they are going to join, whether they're paid or volunteer. They make decisions about the organizations that they're going to join based upon the quality of life that this particular organization and this particular role can provide. There are some people who are in a season of life who are really interested in being able to have a flexible work schedule, and that just really works well for their season of life. There are other individuals who are really highly motivated in thinking about innovation and creativity and being on the next wave of what's cutting edge and new in their particular industry or their particular sector. And based upon what you're able to provide and the type of balance between the type of assignments, the type of work location, and the tools and resources that you provide to your people, that can be a key driver in whether someone joins your organization and if they stay with your organization over time. Working with quite a few different organizations, a lot of the organizations that I have seen being successful in providing work-life balance are those that really honor, again, the season of life that an individual is in, and being able to, as a team, look at the resources, the tools, and the applications that are going to support individuals working in a way that makes sense for their lives and makes sense for the season that they're in. So for teams that are geographically dispersed, then you have like collaboration tools that really support individuals being able to work remotely, but also being able to collaborate well and engage effectively. And that can be a key driver, again, for individuals who are in an organization, who stay with the organization, and who grow with the organization over time. Also, within the idea that money isn't everything, there are key benefits that employers can provide to their people that really is able to think about, if you can't do the big dollars, there are other benefits that are really helpful in leveling the playing field for you. So money is not, or the paycheck isn't going to be a key driver for many, many people. So think creatively about the connection to mission, the passion and expertise that individuals bring in, and how they're able to contribute in meaningful ways to the organization. Think about the work-life balance that you're able to provide, and just how your organization, again, differentiates itself from other organizations, and how that can actually be a key driver versus the money. That so often leaders think that I can't provide this high salary, so I can't get the stellar talent. That's not true. Be creative and differentiate yourself, and really talk about the assets of your organization. The fourth myth that so many leaders believe and fall into over time is thinking that weekly connections, like your weekly staff meetings, substitute for talking with your people. They don't. And your weekly meetings or huddles is really an opportunity for you and your team members to be able to collaborate and to be able to, work together on meeting objectives. It's an opportunity to talk about the progress and the status, and to be able to problem solve as a team. But that is not a substitute for talking with your people, knowing your people, and engaging your people. So often, just having a conversation with someone can do so much for the relational capital that you're building with your individuals and with your team overall, as well as being able to expose challenges that individuals are having, or also additional capabilities, experiences, or interests that your people have. So a team meeting, again, does not substitute for what you're doing, what you should be doing with your people, just having conversations, and not top-down conversations, but open, multi-directional conversations where people understand, know, and value each other on your team. Because when you're developing these relationships and building this relational capital, it's going to pay dividends in the future as your organization continues to grow, and that you continue to not only set but crush very ambitious goals. It takes that relational capital to be able to move forward well as a team and as an organization. Now, the fifth myth that so many leaders find themselves believing is that we are too busy to do X, Y, and Z. Yes, time is a valuable commodity, and of course we don't have enough time in the day for all of the things that require our attention, but it requires prioritizing. And if nothing else, you should take the time to invest in your people and invest in those systems and processes that are going to help your organization move forward, help your organization become optimized, and really realize that greater impact that you seek. So you may be busy, but it is no reason to not set aside the time and to reprioritize, reshuffle your schedule in order to invest in attracting, keeping, and growing the talent that you need in order to move your organization forward. Your people, I would say, is your number one asset. It's a huge asset that you have, and in order for your organization to really be able to take off and move to that next level, you want to ensure that you're investing the time and the energy into being strategic as well as intentional about the attracting and keeping and growing of your people. So those are 5 myths. Do not believe these myths. And hopefully I shared with you, just a couple tidbits in regards to why they really are myths and how you as a leader of a nonprofit or a small business can really come against those myths. It takes a little bit of changing your perspective. Sometimes it might require you changing some of your systems or your processes or the way that you do some of your business. But by really being able to align to the truth versus these myths, you're going to realize some key growth areas and growth opportunities for your organization. So keep those in mind. Now, when you dispel those myths and really work towards working towards the truth that are exposed there, then you're really thinking about how am I moving my team from being maybe effective versus really realizing greater impact. The way that you move your team to greater impact and really being able to build a stellar team is to get strategic and intentional about your people. And we call this having a strategic people plan. With the strategic people plan, you are being very explicit about how you're investing in attracting and keeping and growing your people. The first part of really building a strategic plan is knowing where you are as an organization, what key opportunities you have and what you're doing well as you're investing in your people and building this stellar team. Then you want to think about, who do I need to hire? Who do I need to train? Who do I need to let go or release in order for me to have this stellar team that is really focused, honed in on being able to move forward and realize greater impact within the communities that I serve. Once you have thought about, the people that you need on board, then you want to think about, how do I onboard them? How do I bring them into the organization well? Because it's so key. The first 90 days is so key in getting people off on the right track and getting them ready to be high contributing team members and being a part of the stellar team that you're forming and that you're nurturing that will help you realize your strategic objectives and goals. Also, an ethos that is firm and that is lived out well can do wonders for engaging your team members and for really ensuring that your organization, both the systems and the processes and the decisions that you make on a daily basis, are aligned with who you are as an organization, aligned with your key values, and aligned with your overall ethos. You're building a stellar team for greater impact because your people are aligned with the values of the organization, and the way that they live them out, the way that everyone in the organization lives them out, really is aligned with where the organization is going, who you are, what you stand for, and your mission within the world. Also, you want to think about providing meaningful feedback and support to your people over time. Not only are you attracting and keeping people, but you want to make sure that you're growing your stellar team, because as people grow, your organization grows. It's definitely a win-win situation. So investment in developmental opportunities, training opportunities, gaining more skills, abilities, and staying up on the latest trends within your particular sector is so vitally important. But again, you're investing in your team members, which ultimately invests in your organization and invests in your future growth. All of this is aligned with where you're going as an organization and aligned with your strategic objectives, but it's just supporting you becoming better. Better as a leader, better as a team, better as individuals, and as an organization. So when you're investing in the growth of your people, not only do you want to provide meaningful feedback for them, you also want to support individuals in goal creation and goal attainment. So individual goal setting is so vitally important. Goal setting that supports the individual continuing to grow professionally, continuing to grow within the organization, as well as goals that will support ultimately driving the organization forward and driving the organization closer to those organizational goals and organizational strategic objectives. So in order for you to have a stellar team that realizes greater impact for your organization and for your people to grow that translates into your organization growing, you need a strategic people plan. But you may be asking, Crystal, how do I get a strategic people plan? Well, I'm so excited that you have voiced that, whether in your head or just kind of on your face. You're like, how do I get this strategic people plan? Where do I start? So many times leaders know that they need to invest in their people. They know that the people needs are such where they need best practices and tools and resources to really be able to be strategic about their people, be intentional about growing their people, and being aligned, like having it really support the organizational growth and aligning in that way. So many times leaders know this, but don't have the tools and resources in order to enact it. Well, knowing this, the COO team has developed the People Academy. The People Academy is a 90-day program that supports leaders of nonprofits and small businesses in designing a people plan that strategically looks at attracting, keeping, and growing your people so that you have stellar teams that will realize greater impact. The People Academy is actually, we're in our launch this week. So we have a total of 10 spots that are available for leaders who are really ready to invest the next 90 days in getting their people processes and systems ready for 2020. So we beta tested this in the spring and came to the decision, one, that this was a helpful resource for our leaders. Our leaders found that they were able and equipped to attract more people to come into their organization. They found that they now had a plan for onboarding people well, that they knew some of those key sticking points during the first 90 days and were able to be proactive about supporting their people and navigating the organization, navigating the ethos in the first 90 days, that people were equipped to now have conversations early and often with their people about various things that help the organization to become better, whether it's an individual that's just joining the organization, whether it's an individual moving into a new project or a new role, or if it's getting ready for a really busy season within the organization. These conversations have helped people be very strategic and proactive about engaging their people and really knowing how they can support their people better. And then also our leaders have found tools and resources to be able to provide that meaningful feedback to people through a performance appraisal process and through annual goal setting that not only helps their individuals know what's expected of them and to move forward well, but helps the organization align individuals with where the organization is going and their overall strategic objectives and goals. So our leaders had great things to say during the beta test. And so Lori and I sat down and we're like, this is a resource that we really, really want to bring to our leaders, those CEOs and those executive directors who have small teams of 3 to 10 individuals who don't have the resources to invest in bringing us on for these one-on-one consultations, but who could benefit from being in a cohort and getting a leg up for 2020. So that's why we're actually launching it now, because we are less than 100 days away from 2020. And we want to ensure that our leaders are poised and positioned well to be able to go into the new year, not behind, but ahead of the game with a plan for how they're going to tackle organizational growth by investing in their people. So this week only, we have registration open for the People Academy. It's a cohort-based program where over the next 90 days, We will be supporting you in thinking strategically about attracting, keeping, and growing your people. We'll help you identify where you are as an organization now, and then building the plans that are needed to attract, keep, and grow, and giving you the resources to execute it well, so that in 2020 you are killing it because you have a plan that helps you to be intentional about your growth of your people and your investment in your people. It's cohort based, where we meet every other Monday for 1 hour. So bi-weekly we meet for an hour, sharing the content from me, your HR strategist, based upon over 15 years plus of HR strategy and best practices, working with organizations of all sizes, and really being able to implement those lessons learned in a way that is digestible and accessible for our leaders of small businesses and nonprofits. And then on the off weeks, we have office hours. So that's your opportunity as a leader to come to me, your HR strategist, and ask the specific questions that you have about how you can make this real and implementable within your organization. So not only are you building a plan, you're also getting the resources and expertise needed to implement and execute well, so that this is something that will not only help your organization get ready for 2020, but it's a process and a plan that will help you for the next 2 to 3 years as you're attracting, keeping, and growing your people. Now, this offer for the People Academy is not going to be around long. It actually expires on Friday. So in order to become a part of the People Academy, you can apply for admission, and that is at the COOteam.com/People Academy. That's where you can apply to join this cohort. Remember, we only have 10 spots for our leaders, and we definitely know that this is a valuable resource for executive directors and CEOs, so you don't want to delay. But through this application, you will have a one-on-one conversation with me where I'll share more about the People Academy and see if this really does meet your needs in getting you ready for 2020 and beyond. But if you know that this is the right thing for you right now and that you are ready to join right now, today, then you can do so. You can do so at the COOteam.com/People Academy now. So either register for a consultation where we can talk more about if this is the right timing for you and your organization, or if you're ready to do it now, go to that now link that I'll drop in just a minute, where you can go ahead and pay and get ready for the next 90 days. Again, this is an excellent resource for our leaders. If this was something that you engaged the COO team on a one-off basis, where we're working individually with you, it would be probably a 3 to 4 month process that would be upwards to $12,000 to maybe even $15,000, because of the level of expertise that you're receiving in HR strategy, organizational development, and overall operations for your organization. But because we believe so much in the power of working within a cohort-based learning experience, and really believe in this 90-day process, and know that this is necessary to get you ahead of the game for 2020, we are offering this at a very reasonable price for our leaders. The price is $2,000. I mean, when you think about bringing us in for 3 to 4 months at $12,000 to $15,000 price point, but you can get 90 days where you leave with a strategic people plan that helps you attract, keep, and grow for just $2,000, that is almost a no-brainer. So we encourage you, go ahead to the COOteam.com/People Academy to sign up for your consultation call, where we'll share more about what you receive in the People Academy and how it will help you as a leader really invest and grow your organization by investing and growing in your people. But again, if you're already convinced and know that this is the right decision for your business in order for you to move forward and get those tools and resources that you desperately need, and you're ready to invest the time, those 90 days, then now is the time to go ahead and sign up. And that is the COOteam.com/People Academy now. So looking forward to talking with you more about the People Academy, getting our 10 leaders signed up, and cannot wait for how this is going to change your organization and really be a game changer for 2020 when you step into the new year with a strategic people plan in place where you can attract, keep, and grow the right people to build this stellar team and realize greater impact for your organization. So I will speak with you later, and take care. Bye.